What to Do After You're Dead, the Western Book of the Dead. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, coming to you with a special bonus wildcard session here at 1:35 a.m. on the East Coast of the United States. This fasting has my clock off just a little bit, so we'll take advantage of it. And this is session number 9 for the American Book of the Dead, the Western Book of the Dead. And I think it's a good series for us. I think it's very helpful. I think it will mean the difference between having a good death experience and not having a good death experience. And I have decided on December 10th of this year, we will have our event here in Clearwater, Florida. What to do when you're dead, perspectives on the death experience and how to navigate life beyond. So we're going to do that on the 10th of December right here in Clearwater, Florida, a live event. It'll be right here in Clearwater. We have a nice meeting hall, probably hold 100 people. So I'm going to want people to start RSVPing if they're really going to come. I may do a little lunch thing in the middle. So there'll be expense involved in that. So let me know if you think you are going to come December 10th. That's a Sunday. We'll probably go from 11 to maybe 1 and then have a break and go from 2 to 4, something like that. Maybe a guided meditation in the afternoon after a talk in the beginning and at the earlier time. So we'll see. But we got a lot of things going on. If you're new, we appreciate you very much. I hope you keep coming back. I salute you for coming here and seeking after truth. If you are someone that's here on a regular basis, I appreciate you very much as well. I hope that you'll consider being a supporter. You can click the handy dandy $ underneath the chat box. That's Super Chat, instant support. Or you can go to my website, jeffreydaugherty.com, and that allows you to purchase any of the products that we have. And we got some new stuff coming up, which is really exciting. Or you can support through PayPal, and you don't even have to have a PayPal account. So we're going to talk about the Western Book of the Dead. It's actually called the American Book of the Dead, but I make it the Western Book of the Dead because I think that's more inclusive. And I think that that is actually more descriptive. So let's go right into the American Book of the Dead. And let's jump back in. This is session number 9. Everything and everyone in the surroundings is going flat. The whole of existence has taken on the quality of the forms within a dream, and I've realized that I am now in a dream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. It seems that even the afterlife is a dream. Everything is pre-planned and pre-programmed according to a script. I now see life as a mechanical machine without meaning or significance. And I think that's probably very true. Once you leave this life, you get the understanding that this life really is nothing but, I don't want to say it's meaningless because it has meaning as far as growth and development and understanding, but it is very machine-like. It is very mechanized. It is very much not a real thing. It's a machine-like existence. I think that's what gives rise to many of the thoughts about life not being real, this being a complete matrix. I don't know if I'm sold on that or not, but it does, I'm sure once we get out of these mud hut bodies, become very much of a mechanized, we understand the mechanical machine nature of our earthly life. It was empty all the time. There was never really anyone here. None of it was ever real. All the parts were played by mechanical puppets. And there's another talk about life itself. Now, I'm convinced, after over 100,000 hours of study and 36 years of study across the spiritual spectrum, I'm obviously still learning. I think that this is an arena, a training ground. The Elohim created us. They created this training ground. They put us here to learn, to grow, to develop. I still think they're waiting for us to rise up, throw out the wicked husbandman and replace him with someone that will do a better job. That's another video series, but it's real in that it's real, but it's also fake in that it's fake. Oops, I just lost my page. That could be problematic. I was the only one in the drama, and I'm the only one who ever will be in the drama. You're the only one in your life drama, really. You're the only one that can really make effectual changes in your life here. And guess what? You're the only person that can make effectual, not on 43 CS. You're the only one that can make effectual changes in your life afterwards. If you're depending upon a guide, if you're depending upon someone or something to lead you after this life, you are setting yourself up to not be divine, to not be sovereign, and not be free in the afterlife, and to go where you're told to go instead of a place of your choosing. He feels terror at the fakeness of it all, but I'm sure that I'm real. Well, the only reason you would feel terror from the fakeness of it all is because if you didn't prepare in this life for the death. That's why we're doing this. Just by getting you to think about how you'll react once you're dead helps you to react once you're dead. Now, there's a lot more towards becoming an expert at it, but at least this gets you into the place where you are reacting. He's convinced he's real, and he's convinced the guide is real. Now, he makes the mistake, in my opinion, of following a guide. Why would you follow a guide? How do you know that guide has anything good for you? And in fact, I'm convinced that most of the times the guides will not have anything good for you. Be divine, be sovereign, be free. Don't follow guides. Don't go where you're told. Cultivate the divinity and the sovereignty within yourself here to be sovereign when you get over there. I'm headed for the only place I'm sure will remain real. What's taking so long? Could the guide have become lost? He'd better hurry. It's happening faster now. You can see this man is dependent upon a guide. I would submit to you that that is a big mistake. And I hear what you're saying, Tiffany, but I would say don't relax. I would say buckle down and make sure you work to understand here so you can relax there. If you just relax here and say, you're headed for trouble in the afterlife, that's just my opinion. And if you're leaning on guides like this dude is, I feel like you're asking for trouble as well. I want you to be divine. I want you to be sovereign. I want you to be free to choose what you want to choose and go where you want to go. And that's really what it's all about in the end. It's not about anything other than giving you the chance to make a choice after you die. Because the way things are set up right now is you're set up to be in a continual loop of reincarnation so you can be a continual battery to fuel somebody else's system. Outside of that, you're set up to go into soul farms. Outside of that, you're set up to be driven into soul farms. Outside of that, you actually have a choice. And that's what it's all about, is getting you to the place where you have divinity or where you have sovereignty. You have freedom to make a choice of your own volition and not go where you're told to go or where you're driven to go. Do you want to be divine and sovereign, or do you want to be sent where someone or something else wants you to go? It's up to you. It really is. Finally, he arrives in what he calls the safe space. He rushes in, and there he finds her. She's been there all the time waiting for me. Now I'm back. The safe space, if it leaves, there won't be anything I can depend on. You got to be able to depend upon yourself. So I allow it to run on. The drama's continuing. It's another dream. I plead to her, help me. And she says, help me with what? If you go into the afterlife state needing help, you're going to be in trouble. because nothing there or no one there is really motivated to help you except for selfish reasons. Remember, up there's no cause and effect. There's no time. They have no reason to help you. They have no motivation to help you except for what they can gain out of it. Again, be divine, be sovereign. And she says to him, help you what? From her point of view, there's nothing wrong. She's there. She understands. She knows. You're the newcomer. You're the newcomer. With a shock, I realized that she hasn't been sharing my dream in the same way. And as far as she's concerned, I'm just sleeping. That's all. It seems to me that the beings that are already there and have already gone through this and have already made their decisions, they don't understand why we're so silly about it when we get there. And this next line says, she's not really interested in my problem. And they're really not. They've got things to do for themselves. They've got places to go for themselves. They've got things to do for themselves. I look to her as if I'm having some trouble waking up and I'm still in the twilight state. She believes this is the awake state. Just as I'm in this state, that this state is still part of the dream down there, talking about this life. She doesn't see this state as just another experience, and he doesn't help either. Oh, so there's a he there now, a she and a he. And I'm convinced it is the externalized male and female essence of the traveler. What about children? I think children are a lot smarter about this stuff than we are because they haven't had a lifetime to get indoctrinated. No munchkins to tell you to follow the yellow brick road, and if they did, I wouldn't do it. Fear is beginning to build up a crescendo of emotion. He still has an identity, but he's concerned that he's either just a human who has become confused and lost himself, or he's worried that some God's going to wake up and smack him down. He feels betrayed, he feels tricked, and it feels so far beyond the safety of the human condition. He's lost everything he was fighting to hold on to. His consciousness is dissipating. He can't hold on to it. It's happening too fast. If only he could make it slow down. Time has stopped flowing entirely. He's afraid the whole thing's going to remain just like this forever. He's asking for help, and nobody will help him. All he wants is a little information. All he wants is some help. All he wants is someone to tell him how to stop all this. Well, folks, guess what? All the questions need to be asked on this side. All of the strategies need to be thought out and considered on this side. And it's not in the Bible, even though a lot of people say it is. The gods help those that help themselves. It may never be more true than in this instance. Gods help you when you help yourself. Interesting speculations and comments in the chat room. I think it can be whatever you want it to be if you prepare now. If you prepare now. If you prepare now. And if you don't, I don't know. He wonders if he's dying. The only thing that he feels is that he's dying. He feels as though he's being received only to go through this again and again. Guess what? He's right. I've been vomiting uncontrollably many thousands of times. I'm weakened. I'm exhausted. I just want to lie down, but I realize I can't lie down or rest. Things are starting to happen. I'm compulsively moving from one point to another. He's out of his own sovereignty. He's not running his own show. The automatic actions in the macro dimension are starting to take over, and I'm becoming upset because I'm losing control. During my human life, I was in control. Of course, now I know that I really wasn't, but I used to believe it. And now even that belief is lost. Wow. Just wow. I'm losing more and more as I try to resist more and more. Now I know exactly where I am and what's happening. This is hell. Eternally doomed to repeat this insane drama with these two implacable and unresponsive voyagers whose only pleasure is to torment and torture me by keeping me off balance so I don't have time to think. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And how do you prevent going to this place? How do you prevent being in this place? Well, this is a start right here. Learning, understanding, asking, pondering. This side of death. And none of us knows how much time we really have. He's trying to maintain some memory of his identity, but everything's gone. That's because this identity is not real. You are not this. You never were, and you never will be. I've lost it. I'm helplessly and compulsively wandering around. I need time to think. I've been on a time track. There must be some duration and connection. There's no time up there. And being disconnected from time is very, very difficult and to understand. He feels pain and bliss at the same time. He wants something to happen, but he doesn't want it to happen. He's looking for something. He's looking for comfort, peace, and rest, but he knows he'll never get it. On and on he goes, recklessly wandering from one reference to another. I'm looking for peace and rest. What did the Christ say? He said, my peace I leave with you. Peace not as the world gives, but peace that passes understanding. If you find and immerse yourself in the message of the Christ and follow all the message of the Christ, it covers this, and you can have peace in knowing, okay, I know what to do. I know where to go. Rest. The Christ said, come unto me, all ye that are weary and heavy laden. That means bound down by the rituals and observances of religion in the original Greek, and I'll give you rest. The two things that this guy clamors for, peace and rest, are provided for here on this side of death by the Christ for those that care enough to turn off the TV, turn off the radio, turn off, get the earbuds out of their face, put down their cell phone, put down their iPad, and actually begin to pick one of these old-fashioned things up and actually do some meditation and some dialing into who and what they are, but more importantly, who and what they will be. I want to die. I think of cutting my own throat, but then I realize I couldn't even kill myself here anyway. I'm dead as I can be already. He probably could kill himself, but he'd go right back into another body. The pain from the realization that I can't die hits me hard. Terror, regret, I can't die. He's complaining. And as he has these feelings, he finds himself in the realm of the hungry ghosts. The realm of the hungry ghosts. The realm of the hungry ghosts. That rings a bell for me. The realm of the hungry ghosts. The realm of the hungry ghosts. The realm of the hungry ghosts is a concept in Chinese Buddhism and Chinese traditional religion, representing beings driven by emotional needs in an animalistic way. Hungry ghosts are not to be concerned with generic ghosts. All people become such a regular ghost when they die, and then slowly weaken and eventually die a second time. Hungry ghosts are much more exceptional. Wow. What does a hungry ghost do? Hungry ghosts are only occur in very unfortunate circumstances, such as if a whole family were killed or when a family no longer venerated their... Oh, so the hungry ghosts are ones that don't have any connection to anything left in this world. Souls live in space until reincarnation. Taoists believe that hungry ghosts arise from people whose deaths have been violent or unhappy. Okay. Hungry ghosts emerge from neglected or desertion of ancestors. Reborn in one of 6 different realms. So let's take some lessons from this. You know, I talked to you about getting in touch with your ancestors, your ancestor gods. Not just because we're trying to organize a rebellion against the Lord, but it puts you in touch with who you are. It puts you in touch with your ancestors. And it very well may be that once you do pass on, you can get instruction and help from your ancestors. And they can keep you from dying a second time. It's most unfortunate if a person no longer venerates their ancestors. What's that reference? The Ghost Festival in medieval China. There's a lesson, folks, right here. Venerate our ancestors. I don't mean worship them, but we should all understand our ancestors because they can help us in the afterlife transition. Now, that's interesting. That is interesting. That's very interesting. So we've stumbled onto a great truth just in trying to evict Yahweh, he that shall not be named, but has to be named because there's so many new people here. Get in touch with your ancestors. Learn who your gods are. Learn who your gods are, your ancestral gods. Me, it's Ireland, the British Isles. Where is it for you? Learn about them. It looks like they'll help you in the afterlife. Now, that's interesting stuff right there. That's worth the price of admission right there. Ladies and gentlemen, that's worth the price of admission. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate it very, very much. They're thirsty too. Yeah, I almost said hungry goose. I almost said hungry goose. Yaldabaoth is the Lord. Very interesting stuff. Good comments in the chat room as well. And once again, thank you, Tim. I appreciate it very much. Your ancestors will be there to greet you. I agree, but I don't agree. And here's what I'm saying. I'm just saying be careful because there will be things that will attempt to impersonate your ancestors. Everything that you know, your adversary knows you know. And will try to use that information against you to get you to go where you don't want to go and get you to go where they want you to go. Your ancestors will be there to greet you, but make sure that those that are there to greet you really are your ancestors. And I don't know if there'll be so much there to greet you, but because again, it's you, it's individual. It has to be done by you, through you, for you, to you. And I think that they'd be more standing by to help rather than there to meet you and greet you and lead you and guide you. That's my feeling. And I would encourage you to really think it through. Really think it through. Really think it through. And it's not so much your ancestors into the line, but your ancestral gods. Same thing with the soul group. Oh, I'm your soul group. I'm here to take you where you need to go. Well, thanks for offering, but you know what? I think I'll follow my own way. I truly believe that your true ancestral gods will be there to offer help if you ask. They won't be there to lead you and guide you. That's my thinking. That's my thinking. Val Valerian insists the Greys masquerade as ancestors in the death realm. Oh, they masquerade. I don't know if it's the Greys necessarily, 55 Porter, but they masquerade all the time as dead loved ones. How will we be able to tell who our ancestors are if it's a shapeshifter's fooling us? Because you'll be able to tell, Karina, because you've done the work this side of the grave, because you've said the prayers and the incantations and the mantras that we're going to give you, because you've asked and studied and thought and pondered. You'll know because you know. And you'll know because you've got your analytical mind dialed up. That would be very helpful, I think, CS. They will show up as what will trick you the easiest. I agree. Yeah, I'm not so, I understand what you're saying about the soul group. I'm a little more independent than that. If your blink is dialed in, it would be exactly. Nothing wrong with more the merrier, right, Renaissance woman? I wouldn't worry about your soul group. That's just me. Yeah, that's why Calvinists are a bunch of a-holes. Did I say that out loud? All right. Hungry ghost searching for something that will make it better, but nothing ever will. It'll never get any better, he says. I thought that being here was going to help me. Now I feel like I'm a helpless victim of an insane plot against myself. There's the key. You are a helpless victim of an insane plot against yourself. Insane in that you knew that you were going to die. You knew that this was only a very brief transient state, and you didn't take the time to learn how to do anything. You spent your time watching TV and football and listening to music, and didn't take the time to take care of your original, take time of who you are. And who is there to blame? Just you. Just you, just me. The only truth that I can hear now and accept is the truth that agrees with my present understanding, which is I don't know, and this will never end. I feel a rising panic. I don't want to be alone, but I don't want to be with them. You got to get your stuff done before you go. I feel as I'm stuck forever in the state. If you feel like you're stuck forever in that state, you probably will be stuck forever in that state. Now I'm entering the brute dimension. What's the brute dimension? The brute dimension. The brute dimension. The brute dimension. The brute dimension. Whoops. Stop it. Oh, forget this. Don't you love it when this happens? Damn it. I'm not sure how to get out of this. Force quit. I think I might lose you. I think we might have got into a loop here from this silliness that we can't get out of. If I do, I apologize. Are we still live on YouTube or not? Oh, look at that. We extricated ourselves from that place. See? That's how you do it. You learn how to extricate yourself from a seemingly inextricable place. I thought we were lost. I thought we were done. I thought there was no way to get out of that place I got myself into because I wasn't really prepared ahead of time. What an interesting little lesson. I wasn't really prepared ahead of time because I'm trying to do this organically so we can study and learn together. And I got myself one of those silly little websites that leads you and traps you, just like we're talking about here. Going up blind into the afterlife and getting caught in a loop that you didn't plan on. And yet, because I'd done some research and some understanding with how to work on this thing, now I was able to say, oh, it looked like I was going to go down for the count and everything was going to be open, that I was able to find it out and was able to extricate myself. How about that? The brute dimension is a constant song you can't pause. How about that? Are we in the matrix? Just go with it. Very, very interesting. Very, very powerful. You remain calm. You realize that you have options. And you fall back on the truth and the reality that you've already taught yourself as you've prepared for this. If you haven't prepared, then you're done. If you haven't prepared, then it's over and you're stuck and you're going where someone wants you to go instead of where someone wants you to be. You've ceded your sovereignty. You've ceded your freedom. You've ceded your divinity, and someone else is going to tell you what to do, where to go, and how to do it. You got to be ready. You got to be knowing, and you got to be willing. You got to be ready to think. Very interesting. I don't agree that it's the Mandela effect has changed the Old Testament from womb to matrix, but that's okay if you believe it. Native ancestors. I'm prepared for my pop-up ads in the labyrinth. That's probably what the labyrinth is going to be a lot like. Very good stuff. Very interesting stuff. Very powerful stuff. Be on your toes. Be prepared. Don't go where you're driven. Don't stay where you're driven. And learn how to extricate yourself from places that you don't want to be. Retain your divinity. Retain your sovereignty. And retain your freedom. Very interesting little object lesson that I certainly didn't plan, but that was certainly effective for us. Very, very good stuff. If we don't prepare in this life, we'll have nothing to remember in the afterlife. Absolutely great. And this thing we know as life, we prepare ourselves by getting rid of all negativity. I don't know if I agree with that, but it's an interesting thought. Very, very interesting. So we've given you something to ponder, and we've given you something to ponder at a good time. Many of you are going to be heading off to dreamland. Ask yourself, how am I going to prepare for the after-death state? Ask yourself, how am I going to navigate the after-death plane? These are good questions. These are empowering questions. And these are things that will help you along the way. If you can make it to Clearwater, Florida on December 10th, Sunday, we're going to be doing What to Do When You're Dead seminar. Probably about 4 hours of teaching with the lunch, I think, and probably a guided meditation, maybe even a kava guided meditation. I'll have to figure in all the cost factors. So I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, your friendly neighborhood Christian whistleblower. And I am here to help you, or encourage you, hopefully, to guide your own spirit, master your own ascension, and be your own guru. I'm here to encourage you to stay fearless and to unindoctrinate yourself.